Hello, MGTOW. Hello, men. This is Howard Dare. Thanks for stopping by. So, I want to apologize for not putting out my content lately. I've been dealing with a lot of stuff legal problems, medical problems, housing problems. But most of all, it's come down to what I believe is just an attitude problem. Okay. One of the reasons that I'm not just putting out content is because I don't want to just come on here and complain. I don't want to come on here and just make a bunch of young men angry about the situation. You know what I mean? Because it seems like that's what a lot of my MGTOW content is me finding something to complain about and then unloading on it. Now, I suppose this serves a useful social function, right? But of course, the negative side is that I've got men who are getting all angry, getting all worked up, and I'm the one who's doing it, to them. And a little anger is good. Anger can be as good as courage in a fight. But to be consumed with anger and rage, it really blocks off some of the best qualities that a man can bring to bear in this world. And I believe that we do need to bring these male qualities to bear in this world if we wish to survive. So I've been analyzing this problem, right? I've been dealing with this problem myself. I'm the one who needs to speak on these things to get some of these things off my chest. So what I've been experiencing is that I've been trying to work on my basic attitude regarding life, regarding, my metaphysical position in the universe. No complaining, no finding fault, being grateful, for what I have in the moment and for the opportunities that I have in front of me. And this is what I want to share with the MGTOW community. However, I'm having a little difficulty. I'm running into some problems, some roadblocks, and that's what I want to share with you. So, the attitude it's critical. Okay. It's, I'm going to say it's important. No, it's critical. You could have two people do the exact same thing. And for one of them, it's great exercise. They're working out, they're getting strong. But for another one, same exercise, it's a stressor. It's something that you're forcing them to do that they didn't want to do. And their cortisol levels are just, going through the roof in the same situation. So attitude is what's, determining this to a large degree. So your internal attitude about how you feel about yourself is critical. Here, let me give you another example. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? You need to take care of your shelter, your food, your basic security. And then once these basic human necessities are taken care of, we can move on to some of the higher human aspirations, compassion, love, building community, self-advancement, things like that, right? Okay. This, makes perfect sense. Thank you, Abraham Maslow. So what if these basic needs, shelter, food, basic security, are taken care of for you? Okay. You didn't supply them, all right? But they are taken care of for you. Now, you'd think that this would enable a person to move on to deal with some of their, higher aspirations in life. But what if, even though food, shelter, security are taken care of, what if you don't feel that they are taken care of? Or if you feel that even though they're taken care of, they can be taken away at a whim, okay? This is the source of Thomas Jefferson, be careful of a government that can give you anything you want because they can also take it away, right? So to have these things given to you, gifted to you, you've got them, but you haven't earned them. And they can be taken away at the blink of an eye. So you really don't have them, or at least I myself would not feel secure in them. I would have them, but I wouldn't feel secure in them. Now, remember the two people who are doing the same exercise. One of them is doing it willingly. The other one is being forced to do it. Okay? It's not a good exercise. It's not healthy exercise. They're being forced. It's a stressor. So what if your attitude towards life is that you're being forced to do these things? What if your attitude is, I'm a good person. I want to do the right thing because there's some sustainable ethics that, are a reward in and of themselves. But the attitude of the people around you, are counterproductive to this particular mindset, let us say. What I'm saying is that for you to have the basic attitude of a strong man, if you display that in public, in any sort of a social setting, you're going to be condemned. You're going to be shut down. Even the other men are going to look at you like you're crazy. So if it's time to hire somebody new in the office and you say, well, let's get the most qualified person for the job, the other people in the office are going to look at you like you're crazy, like you're some sick person. Like, you're like you're wearing a red MAGA hat or something like that, even though they're unaware that the majority of the American public voted exactly that way. I'm often condemned in public just for my attitude, just for some of the things I say. You know what I mean? It's like somebody standing up and saying, I want a new car. And I'm like, well, go out and earn it. And everybody's looking at me like, what are you, crazy? That's not how we do things around here. And we don't like you. We don't want somebody like you in our midst. So I'm suggesting that what we've been seeing is this condemnation of a masculine, objective, rational attitude that if you bring anything to the social setting other than some wishy-washy, emotional, subjective, falsely compassionate view, that not only are you going to be rejected and condemned, you're going to be kicked out of that social grouping, okay? So there's no place in our society for you to express your masculine views. You might be able to get away with it like in professional sports, but any place else, you're going to have to be like, no, we need to give, the weakest among us the best chance, right? So let's find the stupidest, least qualified person that we can find, and let's have them fly the plane. I'm not kidding you. That's the attitude, okay? And let's take our people and let's just give them a free living wage. As long as they don't break the law, right? Just give them a free living wage. Give them, $2,000, $3,000 a month. That's all. That's all. Because why would you expect people to be able to do anything for themselves? So any attitude that you express that is actually beneficial to yourself will be condemned. Now, I'm not saying this is everywhere all the time. Okay, that would be crazy. But the majority of the time, in most settings, yes, this is exactly what's going on. So you need two sets of attitudes, okay? You need your internal masculine attitude of getting things done, not giving in, not crying, not whining, not complaining, not finding fault, counting your blessings, making the most of them, okay? And maintaining that kind of an attitude. Otherwise, a man gets sick. Otherwise, a man loses motivation. That's how it works for me, okay? But if you express this attitude publicly to anybody else, they're going to belittle and condemn you, all right? Let's take it a step further. Now you're living this attitude, okay? You're a strong, upright man who supports himself and makes his way in the world. He doesn't hurt anybody. If he can, he helps people. If he can't, he leaves them alone. Pretty good, right? Not bad. I can respect that. Further, let us suggest that you don't say anything. People are coming in late to work and you're coming in early and like you're not getting work done. And they say, why do you think we're not getting work done? And you say nothing. You don't say, well, because nobody even bothers to show up on time. Nobody even cares about the job. They're just here, You can't say that. What you have to do is simply shrug your shoulders, but you still need to maintain your internal attitude. So, you see, you've got to have this internal attitude, which is actually not easy to maintain. Okay, this requires some effort. You're in a world that if you express that attitude, they will condemn you. And further, you're in a world that if you embody that attitude, they will condemn you. And you can understand the logic and the wisdom. Well, I don't know about wisdom, but you can understand, the strategy of what's going on here. Go ahead, express anything of a masculine attitude and watch 9 out of 10 in the group condemn you and find fault with you. Understand where this leads. This leads to men not speaking. See, that's what's going on with me, is that I've got the attitude. I'm trying to maintain the attitude. Anytime I express the attitude, I get shot down for simply living and holding on to this attitude of self-reliance. I am condemned by the people around me. I've expressed this before, and it's a little upsetting. The idea that if you're living with a narcissist, or if you've got a narcissist in your workplace, the idea that you could just mind your own business and do your own work and not be bothered by them. That's not going to happen. That's not how that situation is working. That situation is more along the lines of the narcissist recognizing that you want nothing to do with them and then creating emotional, social situations that you will have no choice but to deal with them. And when you deal with them, you will, of course, have to deal with their personality, with their attitude. And it's not even when you have to deal with them. You have to deal with them. You've got somebody around you in your workspace that's bad-mouthing you, that's giving you dirty looks, that's sneering at you whenever you make a reasonable suggestion to the office. Now, you could say, well, that person's, narcissist. They're crazy. It doesn't bother me at all. But it will bother you. You can't escape. Well, at least I can't escape, some feelings about how I'm treated by the people around me. It's a real sticky situation. Right? It's like not easy to just, avoid it and walk away from it. And if you can do that, and if you do that, understand you will have some feelings about having to do that. So we're not just dealing with entitlement. We're not just dealing with people who want to interpret the world subjectively, words like my truth. Okay. Understand that when you say my truth, what you're doing is you're invalidating the truth. What you're saying is that the idea of truth is this relative kind of thing. So there's this desire to take every word that we have and reinterpret it subjectively, emotionally. And this works, okay? And even if you want to maintain your objectivity, your practicality, towards the universe, if everybody around you doesn't, and they don't care about that, and they condemn you and essentially wish to crucify you for that attitude, that's what we're dealing with. Okay, so not only is the kid, not being taught how to be a man and how to take care of himself, but anytime he expresses any sort of tendency in that direction, he's getting punished. So that's what we're looking at. So I predict what you're going to see is just a complete professional, a societal collapse of any sort of merit-based employment. It works pretty well because, we've been rendered down to a service-based economy, right? Trump wants to bring us back to a manufacturing-based economy. You know, but we're service based, we're consumer based, we are humanities based, we are casually compassionate, but we're not honestly compassionate. We let everybody feel anything they want to feel, and we validate those feelings, even if they are destructive, inhuman feelings, right? Because the emotional, subjective state of any individual is now what we consider to be primary. Not the work they do, not the things they accomplish, not the things they build, but just how they feel in any given moment, right? So, we're walking around with a bunch of people who have got their feelings hurt over imaginary slights, like maybe you didn't compliment their haircut or their new shoes, or maybe you didn't get them something for lunch, right, when they were hungry. Of course, you didn't know that they were hungry. And of course, they didn't tell you that they were hungry. But now they're angry with you because you didn't take care of them, right? Their emotional needs are not being met. And so that's what we're dealing with. And the idea that you're going to have some interaction with another man, with another objectively, practically, reality-based person, and then do some decent work and put aside all that other bullshit, that's not going to happen. I'm sorry. You might be able to create a situation like that, for yourself and for another, but even the other is going to shut you down. The minute you say something like, I don't care about your feelings, just let's get the work done. Your partner, your friend is going to be like, well, you will be caring about my feelings as soon as I undermine you and undercut you in some, undetectable way. So the men have been conditioned to have the wrong attitude, a feminine attitude, a self-serving, weak attitude. The society around you, the people around you, the men around you encourage this attitude because it's self-serving. It's the attitude of a consumer, of somebody who's being taken care of, somebody who gets what they want, but doesn't earn it. In order for you to maintain your strength and your health and your positive, motivated attitude, you can't adopt this attitude that these people have of entitlement, or at least I can't. If you express that, they'll punish you. They'll kick you out of the group. If you embody that, they will condemn you. They will find fault with you. They will find a way to kick you out of the group. You can't even be healthy. You can't even be strong and fit and healthy and carry yourself in a healthy, productive manner without offending the sick people who are out of shape. It's like, who do you think you are? What are you trying to do? So that's what I'm dealing with, right? I'm trying to get strong. I'm trying to get healthy. I'm trying to take care of myself in the world. But we don't have an attitude of strength. We don't have an attitude of taking care of ourselves. And when I embody these things, when I speak these thoughts, when I express these ideas, I get shut down. Like I'm trying to find a job right. Well, I'm trying to get a particular job right now, but it's very unlikely. It's mostly women, and they're not going to want me to teach. Something to do with computers, like teaching people basic computer skills. They're not going to want me to teach anybody anything. They're going to want me to emotionally support people in this vague, shadowy process of learning, right? I'm not here to help you. I'm here to train you. If you want to help yourself, you help yourself. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that for now. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, donate. I could really use some support. Any little bit of support right now from my MGTOW brothers would really, really come in handy. So if you can, click on my Cash App donation link. Send $5 Howard Dare's way. Send $50 Howard Dare's way. Buy me a cup of coffee, right? And let me know what you think about this in the comments section below. And join me again, Howard Dare, as I plan to have more content for you. Thank you, MGTOW.